If you found yourself here, you're probably like me, ambitious, driven, and still wanting more. You're driven by purpose, by a desire to make a difference and create meaningful impact, not just in your work, but also how you live. And as ambitious as you are not willing to sacrifice your values, your freedom, or what matters most, just to chase the next level of success. You're not here to choose or compromise. You want both. You want professional success and personal freedom. You want the next step in your career without compromising your values or your well-being. You want to make a meaningful impact without sacrificing your work-life balance. And you want to lead, grow, and make a difference while keeping strong boundaries that protect what matters most. And why shouldn't you? You've worked hard to get this far, so you should be able to define what success looks like and feels like. But right now, it's just not quite landing. The hard work isn't paying off in the way that you expected. What worked before isn't working now, and success isn't feeling how you thought it would. You want things to feel different. You still want success, but you want it in a way that feels aligned. What you want is aligned success. I've been where you are. I've lived through chapters where life felt messy, chaotic, where I was constantly reacting, firefighting. I was in survival mode, but telling myself I was fine. And from the outside, it looked like I was holding it together. But on the inside, I had no idea who I was anymore. I'd lost my sense of identity. I was saying yes to everyone else to keep the peace, to prove myself, and to be the person who made the difference. My boundaries were non-existent. My self-care wasn't even on the list, never mind at the bottom of it. And in trying to go with the flow, I ended up in someone else's, carried by the current of other people's wants, needs, and expectations. I was kind and committed and willing to go the extra mile, but had nothing in place to protect what was important to me. Saying yes to others often meant saying no to myself. And eventually I realized I was living out of alignment with my values. Didn't feel confident, didn't feel clear, and certainly did not feel like me. But here's what people often say about me now, that I'm resilient, tenacious, stubborn in the best way. And they're not wrong, because I didn't just survive life's challenges. I built something even better because of them. I didn't just move on from difficult times. I recreated myself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Didn't just become fit and healthy. I became a competitive athlete. Didn't just do well in work. I was promoted way beyond anyone's expectations, including mine. And I didn't just raise my son as a single parent. I did it while rising through the leadership ranks in the police. I didn't just overcome the shock of the redundancy. I created a business that has given me financial security, freedom, and a global client base. I get to do what I love by choice. And all of this, not because I had more time or energy or resources, but because I believe wholeheartedly that you can have it all. It's the power of and. When you have the right systems and structure, the right mindset and strategy, and the right habits and behaviors in place, anything and everything becomes possible. So you've always been driven and determined, and at your core is the value of making a difference, of creating impact, of helping others. You take pride in being the one who shows up. You're the hard worker, the fast responder, the one who says yes to opportunity and pushes past your comfort zone. But over time, your boundaries became blurred. The to-do list got longer, the clarity faded, and somewhere in the background, your confidence started to take a hit. You started to ask yourself, am I doing this right? Am I even cut out for this? Have I taken on too much? Is it even worth it anymore? And now it's all out of sync. It's all out of balance. Like the bass has been turned up so high, it's distorting the track. And instead of making the music sound better, it's making everything harder to hear. You've started to lose yourself a little. This isn't your flow. You've been swept into someone else's current. Burnout is creeping closer. And not because you're not capable, because you definitely are, but because you're no longer in alignment with your values. Your time is no longer your own. Your days feel full of obligation, not intention. And the things that matter most are being compromised, not prioritized. What you used to love, you are now beginning to resent. So I'm going to guess you've probably tried planning your week with a new journal, writing a list of strict rules you hoped would create boundaries, setting goals with good intentions at the start of each week or each month, downloading resources or joining webinars and masterclasses to work on your mindset. And none of it has stuck. You fall off track, you overthink, you don't follow it through. Not because you're lazy or unmotivated or incapable, but because you don't have something that brings it all together in a way that feels personal, purposeful, practical for you. You're using scattered tools or what worked for someone else to solve a whole life challenge. And it's no wonder it's not working the way that you need it to. The real problem's not you. It's that you've been working with parts, not the whole. You've been setting goals without anchoring them to your values, been building routines without stepping into the identity that will sustain them. You've been creating plans without the performance habits that are needed to bring them to life. You've focused on strategy, but neglected the mindset work that would allow you to fully embody it. You've worked on your mindset, but without structure to channel it into consistent action. You planned without taking consistent action, and the action that you did take was inconsistent, scattered, and exhausting. You don't need more information. You need integration. You need a way to bring everything together so that your planning, identity, performance, and structure work in alignment, not against each other. Aligned intention, aligned action, aligned success. So stick with me on this. Let's just take a step back and think about it. When you're clear on your purpose, your ambition, and the life you want to create, but you don't have the systems and structure to support it, then it doesn't matter how hard you work. Eventually, the weight becomes too much to carry alone. Hard work's not the problem. Ambition isn't the problem. The real problem is misalignment. So you're trying to build these extraordinary results with disconnected parts. A plan over here, mind strategy over there, habits that do not fully connect to the goals that you've set. And when your goals, mindset, identity, actions, and structure are not working together, you start relying on willpower alone to bridge the gap. And willpower was never designed to carry your success. So if this feels uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. Not that you're not capable, it's that you're missing a complete system that integrates all the parts of who you are and what you're building. So when you integrate your plan, your intention, your identity, your performance, and your structure, you stop working against yourself and start moving in full alignment. You make decisions faster. You take action with more certainty. You achieve more without losing who you are in the process. You create aligned intention. You take aligned action, and you achieve aligned success. So let me share with you something that can help. I want to walk you through the PIIPS framework for aligned success. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system I created to get myself back on track multiple times. And now I teach it to clients who want to build aligned success in their personal and professional lives. But before I do, let me tell you where all of this came from and how it can change everything for you too. I'm Zoe Thompson. I'm an accredited master coach, NLP master practitioner, executive coach and trainer, and former senior leader in the UK Police. In every chapter of my life, I haven't just kept the pages turning. I've turned life into a page turner, one where I'm excited about what's coming next. Quite literally taking moments from, I'll say, what now, to what's next. And there's been plenty of chapters that I did not see coming. Chapters where I felt completely off track, where I questioned if I'd lost myself somewhere along the way. And if you've ever felt like you're meant for more, but aren't sure how to make it all fit, I have definitely been there. In 2024, while remote working abroad in Cyprus, I was a guest on a podcast. And one of the questions I was asked was, how did I make all of this happen? How did I overcome the adversities and make it even better? So, not just survival, but really learn how to thrive. And I gave my usual answer, the laugh and saying, well, actually, I just did. I don't know what I did. I just did what I needed to do to survive and just kept going. And we moved on to the next question. So after the podcast, I went out for a walk. And as I was walking through the hills of Cyprus, the question just kept coming back into my head. I finally had that space to really think and to reflect and to really ask myself, what was it that made the difference? What did I do differently? And out of that space, the PIIPS framework was born. It looks a little bit different to how it does now, but the scribble that you're seeing there on the slide, that's what I drew walking through the hills as I tried to make sense of it all. I'd been leaning on the pieces for years in leadership roles, parenting solo, building resilience through life's hardest moments, that I hadn't seen how all of those pieces connected. And when I had, that's what changed everything because the PIIPS framework had been there all along before it had a name, before I realized it was a thing, before I knew it could work for others too. And that's why I spent the time creating it into a framework. And that's why I teach it, because it works. And if you're anything like I was, driven, full of ideas, but missing a system that ties it all together, then the PIIPS framework is going to change everything for you too. You don't need more information. You have probably got more than enough of that. You need a way to bring it all together so it feels like it fits. Success without alignment feels like pressure, but success with alignment, that's power. The framework brings together purpose, identity, planning, habits, structure, the mindset, behaviors, and strategies of high achievers in a way that aligns success with what matters most. And once I applied it, everything changed. And not just for me, for every client that I now walk through it with. So, this is the PIIPS framework, the 5 essential elements to create aligned success. So in business, in leadership, and in life. It's not a checklist. It's not another system that asks you to squeeze yourself into someone else's version of success. The PIIPS framework is designed to help you to make intentional progress that feels aligned with who you are and what matters most. So, let me walk you through each part. First part is the plan, that getting clear on what you're working towards and why. Without a plan, you drift. Without clarity, you overwork and you underdeliver. This helps you to define your desired outcomes, identify the tools and support that you need, and create tangible measures of success. So you know exactly where you're going and how to know when you've arrived. We need intention. Most people set goals. Very few align those goals with their values. Intention connects your actions to your purpose, where you anchor into why it matters and who you're doing it for, not just externally, but internally too. So when you're clear on your values, vision, and what success really means to you, your motivation becomes sustainable. Identity, the part other people skip. And it's the part that changes everything. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to that level of your identity. And if you still see yourself as the person who struggles to stay consistent, overthinks every decision, or never follows through, that's who you'll keep being. This step helps you step into the version of yourself who already leads, decides, acts, and shows up in alignment with the results you want. Every action becomes a vote for who you are becoming. Performance. You don't need more hustle. You need focused, high quality output that protects your energy. Performance is about building the habits, mindset, confidence, and consistency to follow through. It's about knowing how to bounce back, or as I prefer, bounce forward when you fall off track, and having tools in place to maintain progress without burning out. And structure. This is what holds everything together. Structure gives your ideas somewhere to land. It enables everything to happen. It includes your routines, boundaries, systems, and strategies, the things that keep you focused and on track and working in a way that supports your life, not just your goals. So when you build structure around your priorities, you create freedom, not restriction. Each part of the PIIPS framework supports the others. You miss one and the system wobbles. But when they work together, they create clarity, consistency, and momentum that feels natural, intentional, and sustainable. This is how you stop firefighting. This is how you stop second guessing yourself. This is how you lead yourself forward with structure, confidence, and purpose. PIPS is not a one-time fix or something that you tick off as a list. It's a system you come back to again and again to plan your week, refocus your goals, check in with your values, and move forward in alignment. It grows with you, it adapts with you, and it helps you to turn insight into action and action into progress. It's a framework I use in every part of my coaching to bring structure to deep mindset work, to turn powerful conversations into clear next steps, to help clients build strategy that's grounded in who they are and what matters most. And inside the Aligned Success community, we use it to set ourselves up for the week, to reflect, to reset, and to realign. Because success isn't just about what you do, it's about how you stay in motion while staying true to yourself. So the question is, what's stopping you from creating it? At this point, the only thing standing in your way is doing nothing. You can close the video, you can walk away, and you can fall back into the same cycle. Good intentions, false starts, and that feeling that something still is not working. But if you're ready, and you're ready to build success on your terms with a proven system that brings clarity, confidence, and consistency, then now is the time to take the first step. You can start with the PIIPS Framework ebook and recorded workshop. You'll get clear on where you're out of alignment, learn how to shift from that scattered approach to a focused one, taking one step at a time. You'll explore all 5 of the steps, see how they apply to your personal and professional growth in a way that's practical, powerful, and fully aligned. And inside, you'll also find an invite to join the next live workshop. As the more you come back to this work, the more powerful it becomes. There is never going to be a perfect time, but there is a right time. And that time is when you're ready to stop doing it all alone and start moving forward with clarity and intention. That time could be now. And if you're already know that you are ready to go further and you want to move from ideas into aligned action, message me and we'll figure out the right next step for you. No pressure, just progress. You don't have to choose between success and freedom. You get to build both. It's the power of alignment. That's the power of PIPS. That's the power of and.